Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? This is ZaZa Ali. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2024. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. Subject for this video is from the Science of Self Workbook, Volume 1, which is called Mind. I was actually intending on doing a series of Science of Self workbooks at the time that I released this workbook. And now I'm going to do an actual book called The Science of Self, which is going to be my rendition or offering of a spiritual blueprint, drawing from all of the different spiritual cultures, ideologies, religions, etc., that I have studied and continue to study, and put that out into the world. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to release that book yet, but I know that it's something that is very near and dear to my heart. My next book is probably going to be Black Matters Volume 3 to close out that trilogy. But it's going to be, originally the plan was to do that book centered around lifting the veil on racism, white supremacy. But I have changed that concept because white supremacy is no longer an actual thing, not in my world. I'm not going to put the name of it out yet, but I have settled on the name. That's probably going to be the next book that I actually write before I get into Ancient People Volume 2. So anyway, I just wanted to share some jewels with you guys from this workbook, and shout out to everybody that has always already supported and continues to support my work. So the topic, attention and intention, understanding your internal clock. Okay, here we go. So this is on page 46, and this workbook is 88 pages in length, full color as well. If you have life-centered present moment awareness, then the imaginary obstacles, which are more than 90% of perceived obstacles, disintegrate and disappear. The remaining 5 to 10% of perceived obstacles can be transmuted into opportunities through one-pointed intention. One-pointed intention is that quality of attention that is unbending in its fixity of purpose. One-pointed intention means holding your attention to the intended outcome with such unbending purpose that you absolutely refuse to allow obstacles to consume and dissipate the focused quality of your attention. This is a total and complete exclusion of all obstacles from your consciousness. Did you hear that? A total and complete exclusion of all obstacles from your consciousness. You are able to maintain an unshakable serenity while being committed to your goal with intense passion. This is the power of detached awareness and one-pointed, focused intention simultaneously. That is a quote from the seven spiritual laws of success. And it's ironic because I just had a client call and we just literally talked about this. But this is something that I'm consistently talking about in my membership channel and also with my clients. Us being cognizant and mindful of where we are focused 100%. And most of us are never really focused 100%. You know how we say, I'm all over the place, where then you're definitely not 100% focused on any particular thing. And if we are 100% focused on something, it's usually our problems, right? Consciousness creates reality. And so all of us should be mindful and decisive, at least having one specific thing where when we're doing that one thing, we are 100% focused and present. For me, that's yoga. That's also when I'm researching. That's also when I'm writing, especially when I created Ancient People. So in the book, it goes on to say, this is not a quote from the book anymore. This is me. Understanding this concept of attention and intention is key to learning how and when to make the right decisions. Keep in mind that there are no wrong decisions in the meantime, as every step we take on this journey is focused on leading us to our highest and best selves. If you've been consistently placing your attention on a subject, place, or thing, that momentum should help carry you in the direction of the best choice. The quality of intention on the object of attention, the quality of intention on the object of attention will orchestrate an infinity of space-time events to bring about the outcome intended. The quality of intention is empowered by emotions and faith. Faith in terms of knowing, not believing. Start to pay attention to the things you pay attention to on a regular basis. How much time are you online, watching TV? How much do you read? Have intelligent conversations? Remember, new thoughts and patterns spark the neurons of the brain and stimulate energetic growth, therefore giving way to better ideas, clarity, and answers in the decision-making process. So God set up the chemistry of the physical body, our biology, our genetic makeup. We are wired to expand. We are wired to change. We are wired to grow. So that passage about neurons, meaning new experiences, new learning new things, being in new environments, new circumstances, new challenges, new wins, new losses, all of these things spark neurons in the brain, which spark new ideas, new consciousness, new thoughts, etc. And so a lot of us are struggling with making choices or decisions or feeling lost because we're not having new experiences. We're on a hamster wheel every day doing the same thing over and over, and nothing is changing. Conscious change is brought about by the two qualities inherent in consciousness, attention and intention. Attention energizes and intention transforms. Whatever you put your attention on will grow stronger in your life. Whatever you take your attention away from will wither, disintegrate, and disappear. Intention, on the other hand, triggers transformation of energy and information. Intention organizes its own fulfillment. So when we look at, because sometimes you don't have the answers, right? Sometimes you don't exactly know what to do. Sometimes the goal is just to set the intention, right? And so if you have negative characteristics, negative behavior patterns, sort of finding yourself in a loop, LOOP, over and over, then the first goal should be to set an intention. I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to attract this type of relationship anymore. I don't want to keep having these same behavior patterns, self-destructive sort of elements of my life, right, on repeat. Setting the intention, and then you establish trust with yourself by sticking to that intention. And most of us fall off because these are long-standing patterns that we've been experiencing, but focusing your energy and your mindset on making small steps every day to that end, right? And the biggest, best, and quickest way to do that is to be cognizant of how you're thinking. And when you find yourself in that loop or that pattern of negative thinking, where that same thought that you've been having for the past 10 years or the past 20 years, or what your mother said to you when you were 10, or what the teacher said to you when you were 15, or when your coach talked down to you and now you can't get past us, that observing that thought process, and then placing something in its putting something in its place. And if you can't shift the language and the conversation to something positive, just go to something neutral. I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. I've already decided that I'm going to change. So within the workbook section of this part of the book, for the past 5 years, these are just some of the questions. What was your attention being focused on? What has your attention been focused on primarily? So you could, I would say 4 years, just because 2024, the whole entire world changed, right? And so they've had us locked into a fear-based vibration for the past 4 years in a very strong continuity that I don't think most of us are really cognizant of. I think all of us are really suffering from different layers and levels of post-traumatic stress disorder. And depending on the scale of the way that this affected you would determine how successful that was, right? So let's say if you had a business in California, a lot of the small businesses closed down during that time. That's a different level of, stress and weight that you had to kind of feel yourself through, and then now trying to pick up the pieces, so to speak. If you were ostracized from family members because you wouldn't, make certain medical choices and decisions, first of all, like standing ovation, for sure. But then the loneliness of having to grapple and find your footing in the world without having your support system of your family, which you were accustomed to, and now you don't have that to lean on anymore. You didn't have that at that time. Some people broke, relationships were broke apart during the last 4 years, because whereas you used to spend 8-10 hours out of your household, now you're sitting at home every day confronting the person that you've been married to for 10 or 20 years, realizing you don't even like this person anymore, and maybe even realizing you don't like yourself anymore, right? Intent is desire without attachment to the outcome. What does this mean to you? So many of our desires, when we are magnetized towards them, or we want them so bad, but the attachment to the outcome is what gets in the way of it manifesting, because the frequency is not clear. It's not, the signal for the desire is not strong, because the signal for what if it doesn't happen? What if I don't get it? What if the money's not there? What if they don't choose me? What if I don't get the job? What if I don't get in the school? The frequency and vibration of those chains of thought are usually stronger than, I know the universe has my back. Things always work out in my best interest. I worked hard for this. I deserve this. I know it's mine, right? Your intent is for the future. Your attention is in the present. What does this mean to you? Intention grounded in the detached freedom of the present serves as the catalyst for the right mix of matter, energy, and space, time, and events to create whatever it is that you desire. How will you use this information to make decisions in the future? One thing that I know for sure, and we're in a time of great chaos and division and separation and, the polarization of race, polarization of male-female dichotomy, polarization of politics. I mean, the way that they have people so divided, so angry, so frustrated, so afraid during this election speaks volumes to the lack of real care and concern that the United States government has for its citizens. I cannot emphasize that enough. And while this, there's an ongoing dialogue about who's going to be the best and who's going to help these people and who are going to help those people, there's no right now in the present time focus on to that end, right? Because government is still happening. We don't need to wait for Trump or wait for Kamala. The government is getting paid every single day. And so are the prison industrial complexes. And so are the schools that are brainwashing our children. And that includes the colleges and universities that are brainwashing adults, right? Government is active and open every single day, right? But we're waiting for the results of an election campaign for this and that and this and that to happen. And I think that's really one of the biggest sort of fugazis that these people meaning people in power, the elites or the people who used to be in power, that's one of the biggest, sort of mind games and mind tricks that has been imposed on us, is that human beings think they need government to survive. We think that government is look at how much energy Americans are putting into this campaign. When do you ever see American people come together in a collective, cohesive way and move the ball forward in anything the way that they're doing it in terms of the election and the voting process? And I'm not trying to dissuade you guys from voting. Do what you got to do. But my goal, and for myself, and my goal in all of my content, is to master the art of being ruled by self and master the art of self-governance, because that's actually what we came here for. I don't need anybody to tell me how to think. I don't need anybody to tell me how to feel. I don't need anybody to tell me what my passion is or where I should be spending my time and energy. Now, yes, I can get guidance from the scriptures, guidance from experts in different fields or whatnot, but there should be an inner knowing. There should be an inner strength and an inner resolve that's connected to the Most High. When we talk about faith, right? Faith not like belief, but faith like knowing. Faith in terms of belief is a religious concept. Faith in terms of knowing is a godly concept. And that's where the paradigm shift is right now. I will put the details in the description if you want to take advantage of my metaphysics workbook sale that I'm having right now, which ends Tuesday at midnight. Thank you guys so much for your time and your attention. I appreciate you. Peace and love.